welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Patty. I like to make videos about books and my lifestyle, travel, whatever, but mostly about books. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my close friends pick my March TBR. So I've never done a TBR video besides 2024 TBR, but I mean like monthly TBR. I've never done videos. I usually just read books off of vibes. But I feel like lately, since there's so many books on my TBR, it's really hard to just pick what I'm going to read next. Like currently I'm reading Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I like the fact that I'm focusing on kind of diversifying the genres that I'm reading this year. So today is February 28th. So tomorrow's the last day of February, and I think today, I'm going to separate out my TBR because everything's just kind of like organized randomly. Like the only like real focus that I have on my bookshelf is my romantasy bookshelf, which is my favorite. If you couldn't tell, it's also the prettiest. So I'm gonna be picking out the books that I have on my TBR on this shelf and then posting them on my close friends on Instagram and having my friends pick which books I'm gonna be reading this month. I think I'm gonna pick 5 books for my TBR. Typically I've been reading at a rate of like 4 to 5 books a month, and I'm gonna get 5 just in case, but it might be the case that I only read 4. So let's get started. So I don't really feel like picking a nonfiction book this month, so we're gonna start off here. I've read every single book on this shelf already, so starting off here, the books that I haven't read on this shelf are Powerless by Lauren Roberts and Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, which I'm so excited. This is also the biggest book that I would ever read to date if I got this on my TBR. So I'm kind of scared to start reading this book because it's so big, and also if this ends up on my TBR, I think this might be the only book that I read in the month because it's so big, but we're gonna put it there anyway. Okay, I'm now on my knees. Iris wants to join us. Say hi, Iris. She's gonna help us pick my TBR. So I haven't read The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I haven't read Sith by Neil Shusterman. I haven't read Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. All 3 of these Book of the Month books I haven't read, which is The Helsinki Affair by Anna Pironiak. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. And then Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. So I think those are the only books on my physical TBR that I haven't read yet. And then I also want one of the books to be Kindle. Here are all the physical books. Okay, so looking at my Kindle Unlimited library, I guess the 2 books that I'll have them pick between is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and then The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. So I'll have those 2 books up here for them to choose between for my Kindle Unlimited TBR. I obviously have more books than that, but I think those are the only books that I want to focus on. So yeah, so I'm going to post these on Instagram on my close friends, and then I will follow up with you and let you know what books people choose. Actually, I think I've decided that I'm gonna hold off on Kingdom of Ash because I have a feeling someone's gonna pick this, and then also this is such a funny angle, but I feel like if someone picks this, that's gonna be on my TBR. So maybe I'll save it for April. Oh my god, I'm gonna save it for my birthday month. That's it. Okay, and now I'm just arranging them, trying to figure out like what I want where. Welcome back. It is now the next day, and I have gotten the results for my poll, so we are gonna get started with those. And just to let you know, I posted this on my close friends on Instagram, and only like 3-4 people responded to them. So starting off with what I got on my Kindle, so just a reminder, the 2 books that I chose were The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent and The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. and it was a 50-50 tie. So I think if I get a tie on any of them, which I have, I am going to go based off of vibes. So whatever I feel like reading this month, I am going to choose that. So I've actually really been wanting to read The Serpent and the Wings of Night, so I think I'm going to choose that for my Kindle read of the month. Moving on to Powerless and Scythe. So this was a 33% for Powerless, 67% for Scythe. So that means Scythe is the winner for my March TBR. Moving on to None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell and The Only One Left by Riley Sager. So unfortunately, this one was also a 50-50 tie, but once again, going off of vibes, I have been wanting to read None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell a little bit more than The Only One Left, so I'm going to choose that. So I'm going to choose that for my March TBR. So second to last, The Gods of Jade and Shadow versus Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And we got 25% for Gods of Jade and Shadow and 75% for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So that means Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is our winner. And then last but not least, we have another tie between The 7-Year Slip and The Silent Patient. So going off of vibes a third time, I'm going to pick The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So that's super exciting. So this is my TBR for March and going through each book. So The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent is a romantasy story with, I think, enemies to lovers, vampires. It's somewhat Hunger Game-esque is what I've heard. And then Scythe is a sci-fi dystopian thriller. I think the setting is in the future where I think people turn into, I don't know why the word Death Eaters is coming to mind. That's Harry Potter. But basically, I think we form into humans who kill people. But I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. So if you've read this book, let me know what you think and whether or not my synopsis is incredibly wrong. I haven't even read the back, but I don't want to because I don't want to. I like going into books blind. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. So this is a mystery thriller. And from what I've heard, there's a podcaster involved and she interviews people with like crazy lives. And this one woman comes into her life saying, I'm about to have, a crazy life change. Like, I want you to follow me and like put me on your podcast so I can talk about it. But then things turn kind of crazy from there. So super excited to read that. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I have heard so much about this, especially last year. I actually got this book given to me by a friend who, she doesn't really like holding on to books. She was like, does somebody want this? And I was like, oh my God, me. I've been wanting to read it. And I literally, it's so funny. Like at that point, I had always picked it up in the bookstore to the point where I memorized how much it cost. I was like, I know that this is $28. Like, I knew that. And I didn't want to buy it myself because I'm like, I don't want to spend almost $30 on a book. Like, that's crazy. But anyway, this book, I think, takes us through a pair in college who created a video game and then became super famous, I think. And it just goes through their, like, relationship and potentially, like, ruined relationships and fame and what you learn through all of it. So I hear the writing style is really good, and I hear the story itself is like some people's favorites. So, and then last but not least, The 7-Year Slip. So this is on my, I think most of these books are on my 2024 TBR, but anyway, this book in particular is romance and magical realism. So the main character has an aunt or a grandma, I think it's an aunt, who passes away, and the main character inherits that family member's apartment, and she's always said, like, this apartment's super magical, like you don't know truly how magical it is, but then like once you inherit my apartment, like you'll truly find out how magical it is. And basically the apartment can go back in time 7 years and then back to the present, and when it goes back 7 years, there is a guy living there who she eventually falls in love with and forms a relationship with. So that's super exciting, and also this cover is literally so beautiful. So anyway, that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Bye.